Hello, everyone. I'm Zoilita Grant, and I want to welcome you to the Power of Numbers, group facilitation for hypnosis practitioners. You should receive two pieces of materials that go with this. One is a handout called The Power of Numbers, which we'll be referring to through the class. The other is a group design packet, and we'll also be going through that. It's very important that you actually have these materials and be able to work with them. And so if any reason you didn't get them, please email me at zoilitagrant@zoilitagrant.net. Also, both of them are in PDFs. If you'd like to have the group design packet so that you can actually type on that, just let me know and I'll be glad to send them to you. I truly believe that each and every one of you can make at least a six-figure income working part-time. I've been able to do that for myself for many years. I've been able to help and support others be able to do it, and I believe that it's possible. But in order to successfully do that, it's important that you actually do some hypnosis-based groups or classes, because it allows you to significantly raise your hourly wage and to help more people in a cost-effective way. So it's important that you realize that your ability to broaden and expand your financial well-being in your profession is really key to learning how to effectively do this. Groups have existed in time and space for centuries. But whatever their particular format, whatever the particular reason they come together, one of the things that makes them work so powerfully is the dynamic, actually, of the group experience. I'd like to start all of my classes or groups, and I'm going to use those words interchangeably throughout this class, by doing a centering exercise. So let's take a moment now to get centered, to just let go of the day, to let go of expectations, to bring yourself in to the feeling and the sensations of your own body. And you can either close your eyes or you can allow your eyes to have a soft focus. Take in a long, deep breath in through the nose, let it out through the mouth with a sigh. Take in another breath in through the nose. And as you exhale, you can unwind and let go, and you can breathe, and you can breathe. Take in another breath in through the body. And as you exhale through the mouth, begin to find a rhythm of your breath. The in-breath is life and vitality. The out-breath is tension and stress. I'm going to count backwards from 10 to 1, and each descending number takes you to a deeper place, a deeper space. 10, 9, 8, go deeper now. 7, 6, 5, deeper still. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now bring the attention to the top of the scalp. Relax the scalp completely. Move the attention downward, focus on the forehead. Relax the forehead, relax the jaw. Ripples of relaxation flow down the spinal column as you relax and let go. Take in deep breaths into the chest. And as you exhale, let go, let go, let go. Breathe deeper now. Breathe deeper now. Relaxing the hips and the thighs, the knees, the calves, the feet, the toes, the body knows. The body knows. Now bring your attention to the soles of your feet and imagine that there are spiral openings like old-fashioned camera lenses that spiral open. And from the soles of your feet, there are roots that go down deep into the earth now. And those roots travel down 10 feet, 10, 50 feet, 10, 500, and 1,000, all the way to the center of the earth. Take a breath and go deeper. And in the center of the earth, there's a ball of liquid golden fire, fire without heat, but fire with power and energy. And some of your roots go round the ball and you are grounded. And some go in and you are connected and grounded, centered and balanced. Take a breath, let go. Now, in a moment, you'll come back to ordinary reality. You will feel refreshed, recharged, and fully present. 1, taking a breath into the body. 2, move and stretch. 3, move fingers and toes. 4, get ready to flutter eyes open. And 5, those eyes become awake and aware. So when you begin an exercise like that at the beginning of your group, it allows the members of the group to kind of let go of all the stuff that's on their head. We're always multitasking in our minds. And really get into the place of being present so they can get the most out of the experience of being in your group. Now, if you get your handout on the very first page, it says the value of the group. The value of the group, it's a really important thing to be aware of. As I said, a group is like a magic circle. What happens in the group is always greater than the sum of the parts. And there are 4 things that all groups do. They increase self-awareness. The more that you're self-aware, the more you can make choice. The more that you're self-aware, the more you can change and modify your behaviors and your language. They provide an opportunity for self-disclosure. One of the most powerful things that can ever happen to a person is for them to disclose something about themselves and find out that someone else has the same experience. That allows them to feel validated. That allows them to feel normal in the experience. That allows them to feel safer in having it. The next thing that they do is they reinforce your accomplishments and create a sense of personal success. The activities that you're going to be putting the members of your group through are going to be activities that are going to help them to learn and grow. The group is like a lab science of human growth and development. People can reinvent themselves in those groups. And a group that is well facilitated is a group that really can grow and magic can actually happen. The last thing that they do is they provide a forum for education and training, and that's part of your job as the facilitator. You bring to mind different kinds of activities that allow people to learn and grow. You provide a little bit of education on different subjects in each different group. So that brings us to what makes a good facilitator. There are many different kinds of characteristics, and it's possible to get more information, which I mentioned at the end of your handout. But there are 5 characteristics that are really critical. The first is a characteristic of empathy. Empathy is about being fully present in another's experience on an emotional level. Empathy is about the ability to really be there with no desire to absorb or fix a situation. The second characteristic is about respect. And respect is about respect for yourself as well as respect for the members of the group. One of the things that happens as a good facilitator is that you do have boundaries. You are never actually a member of the group. You are the captain of the team. And so although you become warm and friendly, it is important that you not actually be personal friends with the members of your group. Respect is also about the ability to respect the members if they make choices that are different than the choices that you would make. The third characteristic is the characteristic of genuineness. Genuineness is really about having your actions match your words. You are real in the group. You don't have to know all the answers. It's important that you care about finding out those answers and helping other people to find them out. But you're not expected to be a perfect person. You're expected to be real and genuine, who you are. The next characteristic is the characteristic of self-actualization. One of the things that I personally love about having done a lot of groups over the course of time is it always encourages me to be on my personal journey, to do my own personal work, and to continue to grow and develop. And the last characteristic is the willingness to really use the facilitator tools, to do perception checks, rather than assuming that you actually know what someone is thinking and feeling. You check in. You check in and you say, I wonder if this is really going on. Or I get the feeling as I listen to you talk about your need to eat, that there's sadness inside of you. Speaking to someone in that kind of language allows that person to feel empowered to make their own choice and to develop their own awarenesses. It helps to facilitate those aha moments of personal growth and development that really enhances the whole group experience for each and every one of the members. Another one of the facilitator tools is I messages. The magic formula is I feel about because, and the because is always a fact. I feel this way about this situation because I have seen this observable fact. When you use this kind of language with people, again, it's an empowerment technique that allows you to own what your experience is and makes there room for the members of the group to be having slightly different experiences. Summaries are also an important tool. And summaries are about helping someone understand what are the key messages in their stories. You know, we all kind of get into our stories. And we get into our stories, we can get carried away with our stories. And you know, all memory is actually false. Memory is a blend of what literally happened and our fantasies about it and the emotions that we have about our own reactions and what our beliefs are about. So when you summarize something for someone and you kind of bring it all together, it helps them take a look at it and to get more key messages from themselves. And you know, the last facilitator tool that's so important to really know how to work with is about being a really effective communicator. Being an effective communicator is based on two skills: the skill of active listening and the skill of effective language. You know, when I was a little girl, I lived a lot of time with my grandma, and I talked all the time. And I would follow my grandma around, and she worked in the yard, or she worked in her house, or she baked bread. And I would just talk and ask questions. And I remember my grandma would say to me, "How many ears did God give you, Zoilita?" And I would say, "2 ears." And she would say, "And how many mouths were you given?" And I would say, "1 mouth." And she would say, "That means you're supposed to listen twice as much as you speak." But part of being an effective facilitator is the ability to truly listen, to listen from the place of the heart. So one of the ways that you can do that is you can, as you're settling in to your group and you're beginning and you're going through your centering exercise, just take your thoughts out of your mind and drop them to your heart. Just make a conscious decision that you're going to come from the heart and you're going to listen from the place of the heart. And when you listen from the place of the heart, you listen for feelings. You listen for what the client says and what the client doesn't say. You listen for the tones and the pauses. And being an effective speaker is, again, going back to those I messages. It's speaking directly. It's speaking from your place of your feelings rather than your opinions. So even beyond the skills of listening and speaking, we also have to be aware of verbals and nonverbals. The nonverbals are the tilt of your head, the colors that you're wearing, whether you're smiling or not, the tone of your voice. And interestingly enough, when psychological surveys are done, people pick up more on nonverbals than they do on verbal communication. So if I'm saying something pleasant to you in an angry tone, and I'm shaking my head no while I'm speaking to you about yes, the message that you really receive on a subconscious level is more the messages of your nonverbals. And so really being aware, what are those messages that you carry forth? So far we've covered 2 things: the value of the group and how to be an effective facilitator. And I'm going to pause for just a moment and ask you to write down any questions you might have about this particular area. And be sure and get those questions emailed to me. And I hope even maybe I can have a Zoom question and answer period to go with this class. The next thing we want to take a look at is teaching the group to be a group, the phases of group dynamics. So it's easy to identify people as members of a group, but having them actually become a group is a process that you as the facilitator create in the group. The facilitator always needs to clearly model the appropriate behavior. The members of the group will do as you do, not as you say. So anything that you want the group to develop, you model that for the group. There are 2 very important things to remember. The first is called unconditional positive regard. Unconditional positive regard is maintaining the attitude that you support the person, not really what they're saying or doing. It's giving unconditional support to the person, not making it conditional about whether or not they have your same opinions, ideas, political beliefs. You're supporting that person. And as you give that unconditional regard to the individuals in the group, other people in the group will model that behavior, and you will have a group that becomes safer and safer. Because a key element really is the safety of the group. And the power of the group is like the power of a chain. It's always in the weakest link. And so the person that is the most challenged to really assimilate and connect into the group becomes the person that is the most important for you to facilitate having that experience, because that's where your real power will come in your group. The second important thing to remember is what I call the rule of self-disclosure. Self-disclosure is the most powerful thing that you can do in a group situation, appropriate self-disclosure. And so in order to tell what is an appropriate piece of self-disclosure, it is important to remember this phrase, whose needs are getting met? You know, in a group situation, if I'm having challenges in another area of my life and I share them when someone talks about similar challenges, that is not meeting the needs of the group. That is meeting my needs. But one of the areas that I, as a facilitator, has focused on working with is actually the area of weight. Weight is very personal for me. I grew up to be a compulsive overeater. By the time I was 16 years old, I weighed 265 pounds, and I'm barely 5'2". So at that time in my life, I began to live with my grandmother, and my grandmother was a very wise woman, and she believed a lot in the power of the mind, and she had read books by Napoleon Hill, and she was very into Eastern philosophy, and she believed that we could use hypnosis to help me lose that weight. So we took all of the books out in the library of the University of California that were on hypnosis, and she and I hypnotized me to lose 155 pounds in a year. And I later lost another 15 pounds. So today I weigh 120 pounds through the power of the mind. So I did a lot of groups with a lot of mostly women who had a significant amount of weight to lose, 50 pounds, 150 pounds. And one of the things that I would say to those women when they would say, I don't believe I can do this, I would say, I did. And I would tell them the story about my learning hypnosis and being able to use hypnosis with my grandmother's help to shed 155 pounds in a year. And that piece of self-disclosure was kind of like a lifesaver in a sea they had been swimming in for a long time. Because now they knew a real person that had walked that journey. And because I walked that journey, and I had walked that journey in a way that had made me successful, I could now help them walk that journey. Another thing about self-disclosure is you only want to self-disclose when you are significantly further down the road than the other members of your group. Because again, your self-disclosure is only designed to help those members of the group, not to give reinforcement for your own personal journey. So once you have those two important things in place, let's take a look at what are the stages of group dynamics, and how can you, as the facilitator, use those stages effectively to help the group become more and more empowered. The first phase of group dynamics is called parallel. This means that all of the people are sitting parallel in your circle. They're not actually really connected to each other. In fact, probably the only person that they're connected to is you. And maybe some of them saw an advertisement or a flyer and actually have had no previous connection with you. So in order to be able to help people move out of the parallel phase and begin to move into inclusion or connection, You need to do an activity that has a high degree of intimacy and a low degree of risk. I have the perfect activity. This is an activity called the name game. And this activity is designed to help people feel that they're sharing something intimate, they're talking about their name, but in reality, the information that they're giving is really not very risky. You always begin an activity by demonstrating how you actually want it to be done. So I'm going to give you a little demo now. So I'm so very glad that you all have decided to join the group. And one of the things that we're going to do tonight is we're going to begin to know a little bit about each other. So let's start out with the name game. My name is Zoilita. My name has been a very important part of my life in the sense that when I was a little girl, I really disliked my name. Everyone I knew was Donna or Susan or Carol. And my name just seemed like it was out of the ordinary and made me feel like it was hard to be part of the group of kids in school. But over the course of time, I began to learn about my name. I learned that my name came from my grandmother's name. My grandmother was Zoila. Her name came from southern Spain. It was from the same root word as Zoroastrianism, and that was the Magi. So her name actually meant woman of the stars. And when I was born, they stuck Lita on the end, which was Spanish for little girl. So my name meant child of the stars. Wow, that was really cool when I discovered that. And later on, when I was in my 40s, I began to realize I had the most perfect name in the world. So now what I'd like you to do is tell us about your name. What your name means, how you felt about your name, how you feel about your name today. And then you allow the members of the group to go through that experience. Again, it feels like it's an intimate experience because they're discussing one of their most personal things, their name. But the information they're giving is really low risk. A very common exercise is to tell people, tell us 3 things you'd like us to know. That's a risky exercise because in reality, you're right off asking people to reveal things about themselves that they may not actually be completely comfortable in letting other people know. So if you stick to the name game, you will find that people become more and more connected and begin to move into the next phase. The next phase of group dynamics is called inclusion. What the purpose of this phase is to help people feel included or connected to each other. So in this exercise, you want to do something that is a written exercise that allows the clients to have a chance to write down something, and then you invite them to share only what they feel like sharing. Like, for example, you could say, I'm going to list 3 different feelings. And as I list those feelings, write about what those words mean to you. And then people have an opportunity to do so. And then you say, now let's do some sharing. And it's important to recognize you always have the right to pass. Now, stepping out of my demo and stepping back into being your teacher, what you have just done is you have laid the foundation for safety. You have basically told the members of the group that they can be safe only disclosing what they really want to disclose. And that helps the group to become more included, more connected. The third phase is called mutuality. And mutuality is that phase where you actually do the main work of a group. You know, I like to work, like if I'm working with a 8-week group, I'd like to spend the first session in the parallel, the second session in inclusion, and then sessions 3 to 7 in the mutuality phase. Because it's the phase in which you can do the most powerful work in the group. And in a little moment, we're going to do an exercise you would do in the mutuality phase. The last phase of the group is called termination. Termination is a phase when you again step into the center of the group and really help people go through the process of highlighting the ways that they learned, celebrating the things that they grew for, and being able to terminate the group. A nice exercise to do is an exercise called love letters. So you take a few moments to do a basic meditation with some empowerment and high self-esteem, and we'll do that in just a moment. You have people write a letter to themselves, put it inside of an envelope, seal it, and address it. And you send it to everyone in a month. When they get that letter in their own handwriting, it helps them to feel more inspired and more confident in their everyday life. The exercise that I use to set up the letter writing goes like this. Just take a moment now and gently close your eyes and focus on the sound of your heart. And as you continue to focus on the sound of your heart, you will begin to become more and more calm and more relaxed. And just gently allowing relaxation to flow with every breath of your body as you breathe deeper and more relaxed. I want you to imagine now that directly above your head is a beautiful golden sun. A golden sun that connects into the higher sun, a golden sun that is a symbol for the universal sun. A golden sun that produces only healthy rays. And the golden light of that golden sun streams down smoothly and evenly, washing away all darkness and negativity. The golden light streams into the tips of the toes and the tips of the fingers. It flows into thoughts and spaces between the thoughts. It fills you. It fills you. It flows into the soles of the feet and the arches, the complex bones on the top of the feet, the ankles, the calves, the knees, the thighs, waves of light. And as the light flows into you, it lights up light already inside of you. Already inside of you, there's the light of confidence. Already inside of you, there is the light of high self-esteem. And the light flows up the spinal column into the physical brain. It flows smoothly and evenly now all through your vital organs. It flows up into the face now, the jaw, the cheeks, the ears, the eyes. It flows into the mind. Waves of light now. And you feel a new level of confidence, a new level of confidence that comes from inside of yourself. And as you get ready to come back now, you will be ready to write. You will be ready to write a letter to yourself, inspiring you, celebrating you. A letter designed for you. Getting ready to come back now, counting to 5. When I say 5, wide awake, feeling great, and ready to write. 1, take a breath into the body. 2, gently moving, stretching. 3, move fingers and toes. 4, get ready to open eyes. And 5, eyes open. Begin now to write. And then after the letters are written and they're put in their envelopes and the envelopes are addressed, you collect all of those letters. You collect all of those letters and you send them in a month of time. And that's a wonderful way to close the group. Now, in order to really function in the very best possible way, it is so important that groups have guidelines. The guidelines are determined in the first session of the group. They're actually determined by the group. And the way that you set up the determining of the guidelines is another nonverbal that you give to the group that empowers your group. So you say to the group, it's time now for us to set up some guidelines. The guidelines will be the guidelines in how we operate and function so that everyone can feel safe in our group and everyone can really grow and develop. And you have in your hand a clipboard that says group guidelines and a pen. And you look around the group as you hold it up and you say, who would like to take them down? Okay, you're immediately giving the group the signal that you are willing to pass power, that you are willing to give the power into the hands of the group. So someone plays secretary and takes the guidelines down. The guidelines here, which are sample guidelines that were really created by a group I actually did run, are good guidelines to take a look at. The first is about confidentiality. Confidentiality is so important because one of the things that is likely to happen in your groups is that people will connect to each other and form relationships outside of the group. That's a good thing. I don't think that you should in any way discourage people from connecting and developing friendships, because they're friendships that are based on the affinity of growth and development and interest in the same subjects, and those are good friendships to develop. But you want to stress the idea of confidentiality, that everything that is said in the group, everything that is done in the group really needs to stay in the group. So I always explain that. You know, it's not enough to just read the word confidentiality. And you also want to throw it back into the group and say things like, what does the word confidentiality mean to you? Essentially, what we want is everything that's said in the group remains in the group. The only thing that is different is that you may share things about your personal reactions to your personal coach or therapist. And that way, it keeps that group safer for all of the people involved. I always like to add that there's a magic drain in the center of the floor, and that at the end of the group, the magic drain is pulled and everything goes down the drain. And the only thing that people remember is things that help them to grow. But everybody else's stuff just disappears. Respect, I talked about respect earlier, really having that be a key part of the guidelines, that we respect each other. We treat each other with honor and respect. That there are boundaries. It's okay to say, I don't want to talk about that right now, right here. So people learn from actually talking about the idea that there is a need for respect and really describing what you mean by that word. The idea that there is no side talk going on. That people are really focused on what's going on in the group rather than having independent conversations on the side. The next one is don't give advice or try and rescue other people. It's actually very disempowering when we rescue people. Sometimes we get confused and we think that when we rescue people, we're helping them out. But instead, what we're actually saying is we don't believe they can help themselves. Another thing to do is around this area is to check in with people and say, do you want feedback before we give them our opinion? Sometimes people just want support. Sometimes people just want to be heard. So we don't give any kind of like feedback until we check in with the person involved. And we never actually want to give advice. You know, we can say, if this was my life, what I would want to do is such and such. But we never want to say to another person, you should do this. Because that immediately triggers a reaction in people. People don't like to be told what to do. People have the right to pass without explanation. That means that if you as the facilitator set up an activity and you come to a person, all they have to say is, I pass. They don't have to say, I pass because I feel. They just say, I pass. You always encourage people to participate. You talk about the fact that the more you give to the group, the more you get from the group. But people always have the right to pass. It's one of the things that guarantees safety. Swear if you feel the need. So I like to use the word strong language rather than swearing. And I like to say that we have to talk about strong language because strong language bothers some people and some people feel like they need to have strong language. And you actually let the group decide. In this particular group, people decided that you could swear if you feel the need, but if you're bothered by something, you take care of yourself. So if you're bothered by someone swearing, you say, excuse me, I'm feeling very uncomfortable. And then there's like a negotiation that you can facilitate to have people come to consensus. Again, it is important that the group solves these problems, not you. You know, in the best of all possible worlds, you start out as the very powerful figure in the group. Over the course of time, the group becomes more and more powerful, and you only step back into the powerful position when you're helping the group disengage. Because in that process of disengagement, particularly if you've done a long group, one of the things that I did for 12, 15 years is I did a 10-month group called Passages. It was a personal growth and development group for women. The idea was that the group was really targeted to women that had children in school. So the group began in September after school started. It ended in June, just before school ended in the area I lived in California. And people formed lifetime relationships in these groups. The group was limited to 12 women. I often had a waiting list for next year's group. And so as we would get to the time where we were ready to terminate the group, people's feelings would come up, and sometimes people would feel sad or they would feel like they were going to be abandoned. And so part of my job as a facilitator was to help people work through those feelings and take the positive things out of the group as they got ready to move out of the group. No judgment. Learning to witness what people are saying as opposed to judge and evaluate it. Remember and honor each person's spark of the divine. However you want to think about that, recognizing that powerful element in each of the members of the group, having the members of the group recognize that in themselves, and knowing that you are responsible for being on time. So those were the samples of guidelines of one particular group. They worked really well. Most groups that I've done had a variety of those kinds of things. There might be additional things. Some of them would be left out. But having guidelines helps the group to really move forward. So take a moment now and allow yourself to think about any questions you might have. And make sure that if you have any questions, you contact me, because I believe in groups. I believe in your ability to have a successful private practice, and I want to be here to help and support you get to that place. The next thing I want to talk about is bringing journaling in. So our hypnosis-based groups basically have three different parts. One part is group dynamics and learning how to effectively work with the group. The second part is hypnosis processes and using those hypnosis processes to work on the inner game so that people grow and develop from the inside out. The third component is really journaling. There are many different kinds of journaling, and I have been using journaling for, I would say, since I was 16, 17 years old. I have kept journals on and off through my life. In fact, I have an entire box filled with journals from the 1970s to the 1990s that someday I'm going to turn into novels because nobody would believe that I really lived those things. But journaling is a very important way of getting additional information out of the subconscious and into conscious awareness. What you want to do is you want to set up the exercise so that the members of the group go directly out of hypnosis and into the experience of writing. You want to remind them that they don't want to break state. Breaking state is looking up, looking around, looking at other people. They want to immediately begin to write. And then after that written exercise is done, we call everyone together. And again, people discuss the things that they're comfortable with discussing, and they get feedback from members of the group and from you. And don't ever discount the wisdom of the group. There are people in the group that always have something to bring that really supports the growth and development of the experience. So I'm going to take you through a process now, which will allow you to experience what this is like. If you notice on your handout, it says, "What did the wall say?" This is an actual exercise that I use with almost every single weight group I've ever done. That is a very powerful group. So if you don't have any kind of like issues or thoughts about weight, pick another subject in your life and make it the wall of anxiety or the wall of depression, or make it the wall of procrastination. The idea is that the wall is named whatever the problem state is. So let's take a moment now as we get ready for this journaling exercise that will allow you to go deep inside of yourself and to discover what it is that your excess weight wants to say to you. So take a moment now and gently close your eyes and place one hand upon your heart and one hand upon your belly, and begin to allow yourself to feel that connection, the connection between your heart and your belly. Now take in a long, deep breath into the body. And as you exhale now, you can unwind, you can let go, and you can breathe. You can breathe. Taking another breath into the nose. And as you exhale, begin to find a rhythm of the breath. Taking another breath into the nose. And as you exhale, allow your hands to drift down to a comfortable place, a comfortable space. 10, 9, 8, letting go now. 7, 6, 5, letting go now. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now imagine a soft, warm shower of light washing down upon you. Washing away tension, washing away pressure. The shower creates a vibrating, tingling sensation as you relax the scalp now, the forehead, the jaw. Feel your jaw. Relaxing the cheeks and the ears, relaxing the eyes. The eyes are the windows of the soul. Relaxing the eyelids and eyelashes and eyebrows. The muscles and tissues around your eyes and even the eyeballs themselves. Letting go, letting go, letting go. Relaxing the neck and the shoulders, the arms and the hands. Take deeper breaths now into the chest now. And as you exhale, sink down deeper. Sink down deeper. Relaxing the neck and the shoulders, the arms and the hands. The hips, the thighs, the knees, the calves, the feet, the toes. Your body knows. Your body knows. Now every cell and every gland and every organ is operating in a rhythmic and healthy way. Now let's go into the mind. 10, 9, 8, going into the mind. 7, 6, 5, going into the mind. 4, 3, 2, 1. You're inside of the room in your mind, the room. You put thoughts away. There is a perfect order in the universe. All of your life-enhancing thoughts will come back in perfect order. All of your self-defeating thoughts will fade away. Now in the center of the room of the mind, there's a special box, a box for thoughts, feelings, and beliefs that you're gonna get rid of today. And today, you want to get rid of all thoughts, feelings, and beliefs that on any level block your ability to see and understand and hear what your wall has to say. Your wall is a block in some area of your life. And today, you want to get rid of anything that prevents you from seeing into that block. All of your fears, put them in that box. All of your insecurities, put them in that box. All of your self-judgment, put it in that box. And allow yourself to be clear, to see and hear what your wall has to say. Take a few moments now and clear your mind. And remember the special box. Now let's put the lid on the box and let's put the box on the shelf. Let's make the decision. Let's make the choice to let go of everything that blocks you from being able to see and understand and hear from your wall. And it's good to know now that you have a conscious and a subconscious. And that's good to know. So good to know. And it's good to know now that the conscious mind is drifting and resting and resting and drifting. The subconscious hears and understands everything I am saying. I am talking to the subconscious. The subconscious knows now how very deep you need to be to get to the maximum benefit right here, right now. 10, 9, 8, go deeper now. 7, 6, 5, go deeper still. 4, 3, 2, 1, you are there, right place, right now. Now I want you to imagine that you're standing on a path that goes to a wall that stands between you and your ideal weight. There are 10 steps that take you to the wall. 10, 9, 8, go to the wall. 7, 6, 5, go to the wall. 4, 3, 2, 1, you are standing there in front of the wall of your own weight. And in an easy and natural way, all of those blocks dissolve away. All of those blocks, whether known or unknown, dissolve away, and you put all of your attention on the wall of your fat. And you listen, and you feel, and you know. Getting ready to come back now and allow yourself to actually do this experience on your handout. Getting ready to come back now, getting ready to write. Getting ready to come back now, having a great sense of self-awareness. Getting ready to come back now, I'm going to count to 5. When I say 5, you will begin to write what the wall said to you. 1, take a breath into the body, letting the information flow from the subconscious and down the arm towards the fingertips. 2, starting to move and stretch, coming into your body, being eager to write. 3, allowing that subconscious awareness to flow in an easy and natural way. 5, open your eyes, begin to write. What did the wall say? You're going to give the participants about 5 minutes of writing time. You're going to give them a warning, allowing yourself now to finish up that thought, knowing that in an easy way you can add to this at a later time. You have about 1 minute more before we begin to process our experience. And now allowing yourself to put down your pen and pencil and come fully present back. Who would like to begin sharing? So when I say who would like to begin sharing, it's open and it's invitational. It encourages people to share information. By the time you're in the mutuality phase of the group is really very safe because you've done a lot of work to create that sense of safety, and people are eager to share. If you have constraints of time, you mentioned that when you give the directions, you say, we have about 3 minutes each to share, okay? And that allows people to have an awareness of how much time they need to take up in the group time. That way you don't ever have to interrupt people and say, oh, we need to go on to someone else. You've given people the idea ahead of time how much time they really have in the process to be able to work with. The more that you educate your group on how it is that the group best works, the group actually works that way. And groups that have harmony and balance and appropriate direction from their facilitators are groups that really achieve wonderful miracles in people's lives. So now let's talk about how you design your groups. You know, the next area is in creating, marketing, and designing groups. And so let's pick up this group design packet. And if you look at the group design packet, it's kind of a outline exercise for you to go through, so you should design your group. So let's imagine I was going to design a weight group, okay? So the name of my group might be called Why Wait? Okay, that's a catchy name. I find catchy names are things that catch people's attention. Why wait? In the issue now. The intention of the group is to create a situation of lasting weight mastery. One of the things that I say to my weight clients, particularly people who, I'm working with a man right now who has lost and gained the same 50 pounds since the mid-1990s. So what I say to this man is, when you achieve weight mastery with hypnosis, you do it from the inside out and it lasts. So the intention of the group is to create an environment where the members of the group can have lasting weight mastery by going through your 12-week group. My target market. My target market is people between the ages of 25 and 65. I particularly enjoy the experience of working with women. So I might actually make this a target market of women, professional women between the ages of 25 and 65. The more that you narrow your niche, the easier it is to create any kind of advertising materials. And I always like advertising materials to be educational materials that allow people to become informed so they can see that what it is that you do really benefits them. How will I market? I will use the 3-step marketing plan that I will talk to later on in our talk today. The duration of the group and the length of sessions. It is easier to get people to sign up for a 6 to 8 week long group when you're dealing with a situation where people have a significant amount of issues. 12 weeks is probably ideal. So I really like to do 12-week long groups. That means essentially that I might have to have people have more awareness of me, because people are more likely to sign up for longer groups who have had previous experiences with you. They've been a previous client, they've previously bought products for you, they have an awareness of you and you feel familiar to them. If you are just starting out in running your groups, then probably a better length of time is 6 to 8 weeks. So the length of each session, I like to do groups that are 75 minutes long. So 75 minutes long means that they're an hour and 15 minutes. I always begin my groups on time. So I encourage people to become on time, or they will miss out from something that's happening in the group. And then the cost of the group. So when you are pricing your groups, you want to take a look at what do other groups in the area price for. So commonly in my area, groups might price at like $30 a session. I feel that hypnosis gives it an extra advantage. And so I might do my group at like $40 a session. So if I was doing 10 sessions at $40, the cost of the group would be $400. If somebody full pays, which means that they're really absolutely making that commitment to come to the group, I might change the cost to $375. $25 difference is usually a good incentive in that price range for people to decide to pay full pay for the whole group. I also usually give people another little extra bonus, like they could maybe get a 30-minute consultation with me if they full pay for the group. On the next page, you want to do the outline of your group sessions. So the outline of your group sessions, if I was doing a weight group, I would begin with the check-in. You know, let's go around the circle, give us a word to express how you're feeling today. Let's go around the circle, tell us one thing that you'd like to share today. And this is a group that is past the period of that parallel phase, so that now they feel more intimate and connected because they already played that name game exercise. So I might do the check-in, I might do the centering exercise. Then I might have some education and training. Let's talk about emotional eating. Okay, and does anybody have any experiences of emotional eating they want to share? And then I, as the facilitator, would talk about maybe the relationship of emotional eating and stress and how they really are connected with each other. Then we might do our hypnosis process. It could be that, what did the wall say exercise, finished up by a group discussion after they've done the journaling. And then I might close the group with a short self-hypnosis exercise of them seeing themselves as their very best self, moving easily and effortlessly through their life. And I'll do something like that at the end of our class today. So then in the last thing I would have in this group design thing is I would include all of the handouts that I'm going to give out for all of the sessions, and also any scripts that I plan to use with the different sessions. The reason that it's so important to create this group design plan is because it makes your group go so much better. You know, I really believe in the philosophy of Henry Ford, when Henry Ford said, you know, fail to plan, plan to fail. The more that you plan out your group, the more that you organize what scripts you're going to use, the easier it will be for you to have a successful group. So the next thing I want to cover is, here's a whole bunch of sample groups, and it just kind of gives you an idea of different kinds of groups. I've done dream work groups that lasted for a couple of years. You know, when I lived in California, I had a dream work group that there was consistently probably about 10 to 12 people that came to that group over the course of like 5 years. In fact, I actually had to move away in order to stop the group, because when I opened the group, I said to the group, I will continue this group as long as you want. It's always good if you have like a closing date that you have attached to the group. But here's some sample groups so you can see some different varieties of things that you can do. The next thing I want to talk about is the 3-step marketing plan. And the 3-step marketing plan really always has different strategies. So let's imagine we've got 3 strategies and we're still working on our marketing for our Why Wait group. So one of the strategies might be Facebook. Okay, I have personally had a lot of success with Facebook. I get great clients from Facebook. I have been able to sell products on Facebook. I have filled groups through connection with Facebook. So I have a very positive impression of Facebook. One of the things that you can do on Facebook is you can create an event that goes with the beginning of your group. That allows you to take that event, to share that event with other appropriate groups you belong to your personal page, to your business page, so it gets you visibility that way. Another thing you can do with that event is you can boost the event, and boosting an event is really low-cost Facebook advertising. I think it's good to experiment with like a boost of $25 and kind of see what kind of return you get for that. When you are doing boosting of event, I really recommend that you create a target market. So my target market for my Facebook boosted event is going to be exactly the same as my target market for my group. It's going to be women, professional business women who are between the ages of 25 and 65. That doesn't mean if you're younger or older, you're not going to come into my group, but it means that the target market is really in that particular age group. I also like to customize for interest. So I want people that are interested in weight, are interested in hypnosis, are interested in spirituality, because I tend to believe that the roots of all healing, whether it's weight or anxiety, are enhanced by a deeper connection to our own particular way of finding the source. And so there are elements of that in groups that I do. So I want to have people that are comfortable with that. Other things that you can do with Facebook is you can do paid ads. If you're going to do paid ads, you want ads that are going to go in the news feed as opposed to ads on the side, because people have more of a tendency to read ads that come through their news feed. With those ads, I would also create a targeted market, a targeted niche that you want them sent to, and I would also put the interest in there so you can really kind of customize that. Other marketing strategies that I use is I use email. I use my personal email list as a marketing strategy. I develop a plan in how it is that I'm going to create it. So the strategy, then the action steps that you're going to do for it, and what dates do you want to have them completed by. And the reason it's important to date them is because it helps you to stay accountable and it helps you to stay on track so that you can really follow through. A third step that I always use in my marketing strategies is flyers. There are many local coffee shops where I live where I can put up flyers. I have primarily done on-site groups. I still haven't, I'm just getting into the online, and I plan to do online groups, but so far they've been on site. And so having flyers, sometimes I hire someone like a high school boy or girl to put my flyers up on bulletin boards. There are some actual flyer services that you can get in touch with that know all of the bulletin boards in your area. If you belong to networking groups can be a fourth strategy where you have a flyer that tells about your group and you pass them out in your networking group. Marketing is the engine of your business. Marketing can be something that's easy and effective and efficient. It just has to be an ongoing process. And so it's important that you have a positive attitude towards marketing, because it's one of the ways that you get your groups filled with people. So let's do a little bit of review. I began with this class by really emphasizing the idea that you can significantly increase your financial security by beginning to do hypnosis-based groups. That's what the phrase power in numbers means. Hypnosis-based groups are very, very popular. You don't even have to use the word hypnosis. The word meditation is much more comfortable for some people. When you do your group processes, you can just have the person just kind of relax, keep their eyes open or closed, and take them through the process. These groups function best when you learn about the basic principles of group dynamics, and you use those 4 phases: parallel, inclusion, mutuality, and termination, as ways to move the group through those different kinds of phases. The use of hypnosis in combination with journaling opens the door of the subconscious mind and allows the members of the group to develop more information and more understanding of what it is that they need to do to really grow and develop. The secret of having an effective group is being an effective facilitator. And being an effective facilitator is always remembering those 2 key elements: unconditional positive regard and the appropriate use of self-disclosure. The more that you are human, the more that you are real, the more that you are warm, the easier it is for your group members to feel connected to you and to allow that group process to really open the doors for their own growth and development. It is important to know appropriate activities that help the people move through the different phases of group, and to teach people how to journal and how to have communication skills that are effective and allow people to feel heard and to hear other people. Once you have your groups in place, you want to be able to design them. Once you create a group design, you can repurpose that group over and over and over again. I have probably given hundreds of different kinds of weight groups in different kinds of names attached to them, but they've always been very similar. The idea of really discovering what are the crucial underlying causes, allowing exercises to bring those underlying causes more into the surface, and to create processes that allow people to heal and grow. Once you have your groups, you can use them over and over again. So they become ways of just building upon that level of financial security. To market your groups, you need to have a target market. And the more clearly defined the target market is, the easier it is to get them to be able to become members of your group. Use the 3-step strategy. Be able to have at least 3 different areas that you're marketing in. And remember that you need to have action steps attached to those areas and dates when they'll be completed by. More than anything else, really remember that you and how you show up in your group becomes a model for other people to grow and to develop. And so I want to be really available for you if you have questions or thoughts. I want to close now with a process that I would close a group with, of really being your very best self. So I'm going to take you through another process called the inner workshop. So for this process, allow yourself now to truly settle in, to let go, to unwind, to know that you are in such a special place now, to know that you are so safe that you can really let go. And taking in a long, deep, full breath into the body and letting it out slowly in your own time and space. And taking another breath into the body, and as you exhale, you can unwind, let go, and breathe. And finding now a rhythm of your breath. I'm going to count backwards now from 10 to 1. And each descending number takes you to a deeper place, a deeper space. 10, 9, 8, go deeper now. 7, 6, 5, go deeper still. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now I want you to imagine that soft, warm shower of light washing down upon you. The shower creates a vibrating, tingling sensation as it relaxes the scalp and the forehead, the jaw, the cheeks, the ears, the eyes, going deeper and deeper and deeper. The eyelids and eyelashes and eyebrows going deeper. The muscles and tissues around the eyes going deeper. Ripples of relaxation flowing down the spinal column as you go so deep now. Relaxing the arms and the hands, the hips and the thighs, the knees, the calves, the feet, the toes. Your body knows. Your body knows. Now in an easy and natural way, now you set that intention, you ask and allow, and you go deeper now. Relax all internal organs. Every cell and every gland and every organ is operating in a rhythmic and healthy way as you go so deep now. Now let's go into the mind. 10, 9, 8, go into the mind. 7, 6, 5, go into the mind. Go into the mind and clear the mind. All life-enhancing thoughts come back in perfect order. All self-defeating thoughts fade away. Clear your mind. Your mind. Now it's good to know that you have a conscious and subconscious, and that's good to know. So good to know. And it's good to know now that the conscious mind can begin to rest and drift and drift and rest. The subconscious knows how deep you need to be to get the maximum benefit today. And now direct the subconscious to take you as deep as you need to be. 10, 9, 8, go deeper now. 7, 6, 5, go deeper now. 4, 3, 2, 1, you are there, right place, right now. And now direct the subconscious to focus on the color red. Imagine that you're in a red room. There are red walls, red ceiling, red floor, red door. All around is the color red. And as you breathe in red, and you breathe in courage. You have the courage to be everything that you can be. Breathe in courage. You have the courage to love and value who you are. You have courage. You have the courage to ask for your dreams. Breathe in red and breathe in courage. Going deeper now. Now take your red arm and put it through the red wall of the red room. Step into orange. You're in a brilliant orange place. Everything in this space, including you, is orange. And as you breathe in orange, and you breathe in energy and vitality and life. You are alive, vital, and strong. Breathe in orange. You have the energy to focus on your dreams. You have the energy to make them come true. Put all of your attention on orange, and if your mind wanders, think orange. Suddenly everything becomes yellow. Warm sunshine, golden yellow. There's a golden yellow sun shining in the heart now. And all around you, there is golden sunshine, and you are filled now with hope and optimism. You believe in yourself. You believe in your ability to create whatever you want. You believe in your ability to have successful groups now. Breathe in yellow and breathe in the belief in you. And now step into green. Cool, refreshing green grass in the early spring. Breathe in green. Peace of mind's an inside job. It comes from peace of heart. Breathe in green and let the wounds of the past heal now. Let the wounds of the past heal now. Breathe in green, breathe in vitality and life force. And now focus on sky blue. Imagine that you're floating in the sky now. No cares, no worries. Everything turns out fine. Floating in the sky now. Letting go of fear. Letting go of anxiety. Letting go of worry. Floating in a blue sky over a vast blue ocean. Floating now, floating now. And you can go even deeper now. Floating in the sky. No cares, no worry. Everything will be okay. Everything will be okay. And now moving into a deep, dark, midnight blue, the color of intuition, the color of inner vision. There's a part of you that's wise, that's the intuition. There's a part of you that knows all truth, open to your own intuition. Focus on deep, dark, midnight blue. Ask for guidance. Listen inside. Ask for guidance. Listen inside. And I'll be back in a few moments of time. And now go into purple. And as you step into purple, all parts of you come into balance. Your body, your mind, your spirit, your emotions, everything is in balance. Come into balance now. Now today we're going to go on a journey to find your own inner workshop. Your inner workshop is a wonderful place, a place that has 4 different areas. There is a sanctuary where you can meet with your own true self and get information and guidance. There's a resource center where you have access to all information you need. It can be like a library or a computer. There's a planning and development center where you can plan and develop and organize things in your life. And there's a movie theater where you can watch movies of you achieving your goal. There are 10 steps that take you to the workshop. 10, 9, 8, go to the inner workshop. 7, 6, 5, go to the inner workshop. 4, 3, 2, 1, you are there. You're standing in front of a door that says inner workshop. Put all of your attention on that door. Go into the door now. Go into the door of the workshop. Let's go into the sanctuary. Take a moment in your imagination to create a wonderful sanctuary for you. A sanctuary where you can feel peace and personal power. This can be a place you make up or a place you've actually been to. It can be indoors or in nature. Take a moment now and create your sanctuary. And now let's go into the resource center. The resource center has a skylight where light comes down upon a chair. And as you sit gently and comfortably in the chair, you have access to all information you ever need. You can explore all of the encyclopedias that exist in the universe. You can look for all of the facts that you might need. Take a few moments and create your resource center. Now go into the Planning and Development Center. There are calendars and whiteboards, bulletin boards and computers. But here is a place where you can come and plan, where you can plan and organize things that you want to create in the outer world. Anything that is created first in the inner plane tends to be created more easily in the outer world. So take a few moments to plan a group, to think about what is the name of your group and what is its target audience and what are the intentions that you have and how you will market it. Take a few moments and plan a group. Now use your calendar. I always think that it takes 8 weeks to 10 weeks to successfully market your group. So use your calendar, put down the target date of your group. Use your marketing plan to figure out the strategies that you're going to use over the next 8 to 10 weeks to make people aware of your group, to make people interested in your group, to see what it has. And a tip about marketing, remember to talk about the benefits. What are the benefits? My weight groups are designed to bring you lasting weight mastery. Let's make this issue solve for life. So think about what your intentions are and how you can state those as benefits as you plan your group and you plan your marketing strategy. And now that it's planned, let's go to the movie theater. And you sit down in a very comfortable chair in front of a large flat screen, and you see yourself going through those steps. You see yourself designing your group. You see yourself marketing your group. You see yourself talking to the prospective members, finding out what are the things that they have to contribute to the group and what are the things that they want to get from the group. Finding out, do they have childcare? Is it financially convenient for them to be able to pay the fees of the group? This conversation that you have with the prospective member is a way for you to see whether or not this person is a good fit. And sometimes you might have to recommend that it might be good for them to do some personal sessions before they started the group. And now see yourself actually doing the group. You have confidence, you have inspiration, and you have a plan. So you watch yourself doing that group. And now step into that movie. Step into that movie and feel yourself going through those processes. Feel it in your body. Feel a sense of emotional satisfaction as you accomplish the steps of your plan. Noticing and reinforcing your follow through. Feel a new level of confidence. You know you can do this. You know you can do this. And now you step out of the movie. But you bring a picture of you as being really successful in your group facilitation into your own heart. And every time you feel the beating of your heart, the confidence of knowing you can do this flows all through you. And every time you look at the time, you remember this is your time to do successful facilitation and have wonderful groups. And every time you take the time to remind yourself of that, it brings that time into this time, which becomes the very best time yet. So allowing this process to truly integrate into you, to integrate into your body, your mind, your spirit, your emotions. And as you get ready to come back now, you feel ready, willing, and able to move in to the power of numbers. Ready, willing, and able to have successful group facilitation. I'm going to count to 5. When I say 5, you'll be wide awake and feeling great. 1, take a breath into the body. 2, moving and stretching. 3, moving fingers and toes. 4, getting ready to open your eyes. And 5, letting those eyes flutter open, coming awake and aware. So remember, I'm Zoilita Grant. I'm here for you. You can contact me by email or text through my phone number, 303-834-5040. And my website is www.mindset-for-success.org. Take care, and I wish you all good things.